So Liz, Vin, welcome back.
How are you?
How are you? Good to see you.
Fantastic.
Plus, I feel like a talk show host here. Becoming a pro. I'm going to start with the question a little different. How did you come into Keller? We were just talking about that. So how did you come into Keller Williams originally, Liz?
So I joined KW in 2012 as a team leader in the Brooklyn office, KW Empire. And how I got introduced to KW was our business is primarily Staten Island based, with a little bit of Brooklyn. A team leader from the Queens office, one of the Queens offices, reached out to me one day for a referral in Staten Island. And I remember when he called, I said, "What's KW? What kind of company is that?" Because I never heard of them.
Was this based out of Jackson Heights?
Jackson Heights.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, listen, I have a referral. I searched you online. I see you're a top agent. Would you be interested in it?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I worked the referral, had a great relationship with the other KW agent as well. And I just maintained a relationship with that team leader. And one day he said, "Listen, if you were ever open for an opportunity in leadership, I'd love to have a conversation with you."
Wow, take me through that. How did that look after that? Like, take me through that conversation.
So my first conversation with him was probably in 2010.
So you were an agent, though?
Agent, yeah.
Okay.
Specifically in Staten Island. And we just constantly kept in touch. He kept introducing me to other agents because there was no Keller Williams in Staten Island or Brooklyn at the time, but there were agents with referral business. So I kind of became that referral person for them. Okay. And one of the first events I went to was Bold.
Excuse me. Okay.
They had invited me to Bold.
That was in Jackson Heights?
That was in Jackson Heights.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like no other company was doing.
Do you like the part when they threw the money on you?
Yeah, right? A little weird that way. No, but no company was doing trainings or events like that. And I was like, everyone kind of likes each other in the room. Like it didn't feel like competition. You know, like bad competition, because there's always competition, but it didn't seem like bad competition. And so we just kept in touch, and you know, I met with the regional owner, and
at the time, was that Brian and Mike, or was
Mike,
that?
Yeah, Michael Brandt.
Was Michael Brandt?
Yep.
Awesome. And then, what role did you come in as? An agent? A team
So
leader?
I came in as a team leader for
wow.
the Brooklyn office.
Okay.
Yep, in 2012.
Wow. So you came in, you were the team leader of Brooklyn,
Correct.
not Staten Island. Okay, you became
Correct.
the team leader of Brooklyn.
Yeah, Staten Island office had opened a few years later.
Okay.
From there.
I remember when Brooklyn first opened, and Charles is here too. You can say hello to him.
That's my best man.
But I remember that opening up and everybody being so excited
Yeah.
that it was opening up. And then take us through that. Like, what was that process like?
Well, for me personally, so I was the team leader there from 2012 to.
So you went from 0 to
0 to
50 or 60 in how long?
100, little over 100 in 2016, 15, 16.
Okay.
And then I went back into production in end of 27.
I wouldn't say back.
2016.
You went lateral.
Yeah, I went into production
And
in
then,
2016.
so you came over as a team leader, then went back into production, and then went from there.
Yep.
And how long were you in the real estate business prior to joining Keller Williams?
2008.
So
got in.
the interesting thing is you came over as leadership, not as an agent.
Yeah. Yep.
And what did you see the difference between leadership and agents?
I always say I'd be a heck of a better team leader now, being a top agent, knowing what top agents in Keller Williams go through. You know, and a lot of people that you spoke to talked about leadership, and I think that it's important for agents to talk to their leadership, and I think a lot of issues wouldn't arise because, you know, as a top agent you feel a certain way, and as a team leader you may see things differently, but really at the end of the day we work really well together when communication is open.
Wow. And so when you step down to that position, you go back into production. What kind of production were you guys doing at that point?
So I kind of felt like a brand new agent, you know,
Okay.
because I didn't have really a book of business being a team leader, because we're not allowed to sell real estate. So my husband got into the business. We had just gotten married the year before, and we said, you know what, let's build a team. So we jumped in, and I'm going, where do I start, right? As a brand new agent. So I focused on referrals. People that I knew so many KW agents throughout, nationwide, worldwide. So I just started to reach out to my sphere of agents and say, hey, you know what, I'm an agent now. How can I help your clients? How can I help you get a referral in Staten Island or Brooklyn? And we never looked back from that.
So what kind of production do you do, like when you started off to today?
Maybe our first year we did, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 deals, let's say.
It wasn't even the first year, it was the first 6 months of that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did about that.
Yeah, about 8 to 10, and now we're doing about 25 to 30 transactions a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then, so let's just get to the question, why did you end up leaving? What made you leave? I know it's a combination of...
It is a combination of some things, but primarily leadership. So we had opened up a Staten Island office, and the leadership there was just constantly turning over. And so we just decided, you know what, maybe we need to step away. And a lot of people have said this too, is like, I feel like I never left KW, and I was never leaving because of just KW. It was the leadership.
And when we left, we were still getting KW referrals.
Yeah, we
it
were still
wasn't a
getting
company
referrals.
with, it was just the relationship we had.
Profit share.
Yeah.
We're constantly, KW was still constantly in our face, always, always.
The interesting thing in some of these, we haven't really touched on this today, but it's interesting. A lot of the competitors now are copying our model and using our model, right? And it's kind of interesting how that is. I like that because it shows that we have something good. And you went to the competitor, and how did it go there?
So our competitor was basically running a KW office under another franchise. And I just kept saying, like, I feel like we're still at KW, essentially, right? And when I had left, one of the first people I spoke to was you. And we always tried to figure out some way of still connecting. And through those 3 years, we've constantly stayed in touch, always. And at some point, we knew that there was going to be a time when we would work together again. And when we sat down one day, and I said to you, but you know what, Rich, my company, I don't pay such a high cap, because they still use the same words as KW uses. And you asked me about, what other fees am I paying? What other fees are you paying? It can't be. The grass isn't greener on the other, and when I broke it down because of that conversation, I said, wow, it's not only the cap, for where we were. We paid a lot of money in transaction fees that equated to more than we would have, quote unquote, spent at KW.
That's interesting.
But we also never left because of that.
It wasn't money.
It was never money.
The same as everyone else. How was your breakup when you left Keller? Was it good?
I got paid every dollar I was owed. Every listing that was supposed to come with us came with us.
So it was very smooth.
It was smooth.
You left the door open.
And the door stayed open, and
Yeah.
that's another reason why it
Door
was so
stayed
easy to
open.
come back. And then with that being said, and you just recently, and again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying where it's from, but what was the experience leaving that new place?
Like someone said, bridges were burned, unfortunately. Yeah. There's issues with payment and, all the promises, and it wasn't delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's interesting.
very different, very
Made
different.
it that much easier for you guys to come
Oh,
back.
yeah.
It definitely
100%.
made it easier.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I would have left anyway. The decision was made. No matter what way that was going to happen, it was going to happen, and we were still coming back to KW, no matter what.
And then, so what was the reason that, we touched on it a little bit. What was the reason that you came back to Keller? I know it's like you never wanted to leave,
Right.
but what's that main reason that drew you back? Was it a cap? Was it, and don't say me because I know it wasn't me, but
It was.
the
It
leadership.
was.
It was 100% you.
Yeah.
Because
Appreciate
you
that.
were the one constant person that we had nothing to offer KW while we were gone. And you constantly kept in touch with us. We met constantly. We mastermind. It was you.
We watch your progress.
Yeah.
We watch your growth.
And
So
when
you know-
there was a time when we sat down and you said, these are the things that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I said, is he going to really do them? And each one has been checked off.
No empty promises. You
Each one has
100%.
been checked off.
It's all because of Linda
Yeah,
and Jeannie
Linda.
and everybody else, not me.
A great team behind you.
That's right.
Alongside of you.
That's what it is.
actually.
It's about.
Yeah.
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 So what kind of production you doing now? You said 20.
We're about 25 transactions.
Where do you see yourself going in the future?
Our
because
goal
of
is to double that.
And is
goal
that
is to-
because of the relationships? What kind of
Yeah.
referrals were you getting over at the other competitor? Besides Keller Williams ones.
So we still did get some Keller Williams referrals, and there were some people that just didn't, want to work with us because we were not KW agents, which was fine. So that kind of got us to thinking outside of the box a little bit because we were forced to, because we have literally based our business on agent-to-agent referrals. I don't pick up the phone and call expireds or cold call or anything like that. Our business has never been that. So we were kind of forced to think outside the box and add another stream to our business, now alongside with KW referrals again. And we started reaching out to agents from different companies that didn't have offices in our location. Because who were they giving those referrals to? And a lot of them had no one. They didn't have an agent that they could refer business to because they never thought of it. And I think that that's something that KW really opens your mind to, is that culture of sharing, that culture of building business, of not leaving money on the table, because you can build a big business with referrals. Our previous company, they did not get agent-to-agent referral. They couldn't comprehend the conversations.
So how was it prior to that company? How was it back in 2008 with the company that you were at? Was it the same way with the referrals, or did they have something?
I was pretty much referral based there too, and I was part of a franchise then as well. And I like being part of a franchise because you're open to that network of working with other agents and different opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But KW was the only company that really offered opportunities to agents.
And the culture.
And the culture. And you could really, if you wanted to be an OP, there's an opportunity for you. If you want to be a team leader, there's an opportunity for you. If you want to just come to the company and take advantage of profit share, you can do that too.
Speaking on profit share, how many people did you recruit into Keller Williams?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And as we were not with Keller Williams, we got direct deposits in our bank account every single month. Every single month, because we were vested with the company.
Wow.
So even if we wanted to not think about KW, every month it was there.
So what separates us from the competition is that we stay in touch
Mm-hmm.
and we keep that door open at all times.
Yep,
And again, that
That's
comes with
huge.
relationship building and
that's huge.
the masterminds that Mike was
And
talking
I think
about.
everyone has the opportunity to do what's best for what they feel is best for them and their family, right? And I was a team leader, and I know that people left when I was a team leader, and you just always leave the door open. You just never know what someone else is going through or what other opportunities they may have. But if you close the door, you'll never know what could happen after that.
Funny thing, being an OP and watching TLs and Linda and everybody that's TLs, you guys take it personal when people leave, right? It's it hurts.
Yeah.
Because you have such amazing relationships
Yeah.
with the agents that you bring in, right? And
Mhm.
it's, so,
You have to put that emotion aside, because it's not about the TL. You know what I'm saying? You got to put the emotion aside on that.
it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
Because
very.
again, we are so much like a family that, it's just hard. And we were talking about that yesterday, Alyssa and I, where it's like we're family. It's we're not partners.
Right,
It's family in our world, and it's kind of interesting, right, daughter? So we were talking about that, and but it is interesting how tight we get in our world, and it's I don't know if it's Keller, if it's this. I like you. I bought into a franchise because I wanted to follow that model,
Right.
and because it's successful, the models. And it's obviously proven because, again,
100%.
people are copying us.
Right.
That's not even bought into that model. It's
Yep.
pretty interesting.
And they're not even changing the words around.
It's really
They're,
interesting.
you know,
They can copy, but they don't have the culture, they don't have the understanding. Or,
they don't have the leadership.
That's
the
why we've
leadership.
grown. We've grown immensely from one market center to 6 market centers, and now going on to however many more
Right.
we're bringing in, and it's just
Absolutely.
absolutely amazing with the growth, the massive growth that we have.
So, like everybody else, finish it off. What would you like to add that we left out? Would you do everything the same way? What would be different, if anything?
I don't think I would change anything. I don't, because honestly, had I not left, I would not have had a business relationship with you. And
Appreciate that.
that's the truth. Because I left, we got in touch. and that has opened up my eyes, doors, our business. So that was a key point.
I'm glad I could
Yeah.
be that person for you. And
Thanks.
and again, it's about leaning on each other, and that's
Yeah,
what we do
100%.
here. And that's the great thing about Keller, that every single person can lean on each other. And you know, I
100%.
tell people, you don't have to like everybody,
Right.
but we all do respect
Yeah,
each other and respect what they're
100%.
doing. And it's a pretty special company that we have here.
I
It
agree.
really is. So, anything you want to add? Good.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to be home.
Yeah.